How was your dad with you?
I had a wonderful father, gosh. The only regret that I have is, so I'm one of 7 kids, and I grew up in a very loving family. I have a mom and dad. They were married 55 years before they passed away. Both of them passed away within 9 months of each other, both suddenly and unexpectedly.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. But I grew up in a super loving family. My dad was a regional sales manager for a chemical company. And so he was gone all the time during my childhood. So he was flying everywhere. His territory was everything west of Illinois. So he was, trying to put food on the table, a roof over our head, which he did quite nicely. But I had a father that modeled what it looked like to be loved unconditionally. He also was somebody who modeled loving his wife, my mom. I have, really distinct visions of, there's 2 things that we did. Again, we didn't have a whole lot of money, but we used to go to Lake Tahoe once a year for 2 weeks, and we'd water ski, and we camped, and we would go to Disneyland once a year, and we would go to Mission Bay during Memorial Weekend and ski. We had a boat, and we would water ski. So everything was around camping and water skiing. But the thing I also remember is my mom liked jewelry. And so for whatever reason, she wasn't a clothes whore or anything like that, although she, always looked quite nice, but she liked jewelry, and my dad knew it. And so he would always not only get her something, some ring or some earrings or a necklace or something, but he always had a creative way of doing it. And I remember this is just one of many examples. He'd give my mom a piece of string, and this would be at Christmas. And we're all sitting around looking at a piece of string, and she'd have to, roll the string, and she'd have to follow it. And it was a maze all over our house, in this room, in that room, under this thing, over this thing. And she'd have to sort of navigate up the stairs, down the stairs, and all around. And it would take like 15 minutes. And we were laughing and stuff. So he could have just given it to her. Hey, I know you want jewelry. Here you go. But he made a big deal out of it. So I love that part of that.
You made it special.
Yeah. And I like that he made special, we had lots of traditions in our family. Like, for example, I believed in Santa Claus, right? And mind you, I'm 5th of 7 kids.
Okay.
I had older kids that already knew sorry, hopefully no kids are watching this, but when they found out the truth about Santa and his origins, they never divulged. And so we had a tradition that in early December, we would write Santa a letter. So imagine all of us, 9 of us, gather around a fireplace, and we'd go one by one. Okay, what do you want to say to Santa? Oh, Santa, we love you, but really we want to get to the list of what we wanted, and he'd write the list down. And, it's just traditions like this. We had so many different wonderful traditions like that.
That's fun. That's really great. So we've covered a lot of topics here, which I'm glad we have. And I knew you were going to have a lot of good insights on all this stuff. So a couple things, because I think we are coming here to the end. For lots, what are your needs right now?
Ooh, good question. So I'm going to tell you right now, we have never formally fundraised, never once. And by the way, I want to let you know that the services you had alluded to this, so I want to give a little bit of context to it. So again, you heard how we started with these trailers, a shower trailer and a laundry trailer, and then we started doing breakfast. And then the interesting thing, the way this ministry grew, and the way we were so successful of getting approximately 500 people off the streets and or reunited with their families, is that God would bring these people to our ministry, and they would tap us on the shoulder and ask us, what can we do? And we'd be like, oh my gosh, serve eggs, cook the eggs. People are starting to bring clothes here, and I don't know what to do with them. Manage the clothing or whatever. So every time somebody would tap us on the shoulder and ask us what they could do, they would do something we were doing and then do it 10 times better. So we just kind of got out of the way. And then they started to just say, hey, I think we should do this. And we were of the ilk, then do it. So now we have this thing called Wanda's Wardrobe. This lady named Wanda who had a heart for watching all these clothes come in, but we had no way of distributing them efficiently. And it was just this mess. Now it's just like, it's almost like you're going to a store. I mean, they set up every Saturday. They have all of these tables. There's a line. It's very orderly, and they get a bag, and things are, they're separated by gender. They're separated by long sleeve, short sleeve, long pants, short pants, underwear, socks, whatever it is. And then also hygiene kits and stuff like that. So people see stuff, they see a need. There's a lady who cuts hair, and she decided that she was going to donate her time. So she'd come up with a team of people, and they would cut hair and shave beards. And again, this is all dignity stuff. And then, then we got somebody, there's an organization called Trellis. We're another parachurch ministry, and they have a something that's called CIT, Community Impact Team. It's sort of a back to work training program. So we have gift certificates that are donated to us, and then we have this team. Brandon and Terry Moore run the CIT, and so after we have breakfast on Saturdays, and after they've taken showers and they've cleaned their clothes, they can go into a room where they get work training, and there's these projects all around Costa Mesa that they can do, and some are park cleanup, road cleanup. They're at restaurants and they get training, and then they get a gift card. They get a gift card for their service, for their hours of work. So anyway, we have back to work programs. There's just so many things going on. Anyway, my point of telling you this longboarding story is that we've done all of this with not one penny from government, not from the city, not from the county, not from the state, and not from the feds. All self-generated. Churches have taken note. So at any one given Saturday, there's probably 15 different organizations now. Churches now sponsor breakfasts. There's an organization called Brackus, I'm going to say this right, Brackus Kitchen, and they are now donating the food, and they cook it, and then they bring it hot in trays, and we just put them in chafing dishes. And so the churches that sponsor, they'll do a donation to Brackish, but they'll also provide the human resources to serve the breakfast. But now we have breakfast. Now we have lunches that are being put together, and those are passed out. So then when they leave the campus, right, because our hours of operation are only 7:30 to 11:30, and then we have to clear out the campus. And then, so we give them lunches that they can take, but then Crossing Church has also allowed us to do dinners there. So now we have dinners, not every Saturday, but periodically through the month. So you asked Anita, I'm sorry for that long explanation.
No, it's all right.
But I wanted to have context to all of this. We are in the process. So we've been doing this for almost 13 years. You can imagine. We're becoming less efficient with laundry, right? We used to be able to do 40 loads. Now we're down to about 32. Why? Because the machines are breaking down. They're getting out of balance. We have to stop it, and we have to put them rebalance, and, jerry rig the clothes. The shower pumps are going out. We have to get shower pumps. So we really do need funds to refurbish all of the equipment. We need new washers and dryers. We need new pumps. We need to sort of retrofit. We need new shower nozzles for the showers and plumbing and stuff like that. So for the first time, we're sort of addressing the financial needs to get that done. But in general, like on a sort of a weekly basis, we need men's clothing, especially like as we start to get into the winter months. We need coats, we need blankets, we need backpacks, we need socks, we need specifically women's hygiene kits, sort of sensitive, needs like that.
You had mentioned some needs for some new items that were razors, men's underwear,
Oh
some
yeah,
other items like that, because
socks.
those are some of the items, and we're going to get a link for an Amazon wish list that will come out with this episode, so that if anyone wants to
Yeah,
donate from that list,
beanies. That was the thing that
beanies.
came out last
Okay.
week. Beanies, and I would encourage anybody who, if you feel like, God is tugging at your heart and you just want to see this, you just want to observe it, come. It's every Saturday at the Crossing Church, and we're in the parking structure. And like I said earlier at the beginning, I don't care who you are, whether you're a volunteer, newly homeless, or you've been homeless for a long time, you're going to get affected by this. You're going to be changed by it.
When I've seen it now, I've really, I mean, it's made me feel good just seeing that there's all these people who are doing active work to change their lives, and I think that's one thing on a homeless basis, and I've over the years, when I mentioned, your mindset changes on these things, I can remember personal debates that I got with individuals where there was kind of this argument, oh, well, why help homeless people? They're there by their own, by their own work. And that's such a defeatist mentality. That's really something where it just goes, just kind of throw your hands up and go, I'm not going to do anything about that. But when you actually look closer and you go, wait a minute, there is ways to help these people. Because when I went there to see, your the ministry, I mean, I was blown away. Everyone is clean. You got all these people who are, camping, who were camping on the streets, who are now getting clean because it's dirty camping on that. How did you say it? Urban camping is dirty.
Yeah.
But these individuals, when you're there,
business.
you realize how, they do want to improve. They don't all want to be there. They're not in a position where they're just, thrown in the towel, as I kind of put it earlier. There are individuals who want to get off of the street, and this is a body of people you've collected that are working to do that. So
there's a guy named, I'll call him Rob, another success story. And by the way, these are just a few of the success stories. Rob was a felon. He was in jail. He was in the army. He went AWOL, and then he was, an alcoholic and a drug addict. And then he was also a felon, and then he gets out of jail, and then he's working as a bouncer at a biker bar. Can you imagine this? A bouncer at a biker bar. And if you ever saw this person, you would not want to meet him on a dark street. And he came to our ministry, homeless, and he completely changed his life around. It started, as I mentioned before, with God grabbing his heart. And that seems to be the common theme of people turning their lives around. It starts with their heart and this connection to God. And again, it's before any of their needs are met. But they get that. He completely turns his life around. He starts to work. He gets off the streets. He's off drugs. He's off alcohol. Now he's got 2 jobs. Then he's got 3 jobs. And one of the jobs is at the church. And then when he's not being paid to do this work at the church, he comes to volunteer. By the way, every Saturday we circle up, and I invite people, and we just circle up not to preach at them, but we want to tell them who we are and why we do what we do. And we take about 5 minutes, maybe a little over 5 minutes, but we tell them, we want to invite you into this community, because this community is a community where transformation takes place. Yes, we let them know it's a Christian community of Christ believers, followers, and servants. We want to invite you into it because that's where the transformation is taking place. But we tell them, if you feel like you're misunderstood, or if you feel like you're judged, you belong here. If you're ashamed of something that you've done in the past or something that you're doing now, you will find freedom and forgiveness here. So come. And by the way, I tell them, everybody's getting transformed. And then I say this. I say, don't take my word for it. Talk to any of the ones here. Talk to this person. Talk to that person. Talk to this person. They were on the streets. Why are they here? They're not required to be here. They're here because they remember their origins, and they remember that they were helped, and they want to help. By the way, if you ask anybody on our team, why do you do what we do? Yes, there's a scripture about it. It tells us that we should do this, but what's the motivation, right? What's the motivation? It is not to be saved. It's not to go to heaven. We get that. That's a free gift that we get. We get it because it is a response to God's great love that came in the form of a smiling face, somebody serving eggs, somebody acknowledging them, somebody engaging in them and inviting them into this community. And it is fascinating because I'm so fortunate. I had loving parents and I was never homeless. I never put myself in that position. By the way, a lot of our homeless friends, they have loving families, sadly, but they've estranged themselves from it. And it's a very, very complex situation that needs a lot more attention than just money being thrown at it. But anyway, I hope that answered the question. But
it does. It absolutely does. So Lots is the ministry, and they can Google that. Lots will come up if they say the Crossings Church.
They can, but
Lots.
probably the best way, I would say, if anybody's interested in giving or serving, and it could be a financial gift, or it could be clothes, it could be hygiene kits if they want to donate their time. They can contact me. And
Okay.
and it's easy. It's Andrew at andrewandtodd.com. And I can plug them in. I can let them know. And we're a 501c3 nonprofit, both Lots and Dwelling 222. That's the partnership that does that.
And I am going to add in a plug here for you. So andrewandtodd.com. This is also how people can get in contact with you if they need to get a home loan.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
so
right.
I just want to make sure, because, we've talked completely in this whole episode about, within Real Estate Dads, Andrew is a real estate expert and he's got lots of experience with it, but we wanted to have him on to talk about his ministry. So if that is something you have a need for in regards to, a home mortgage, do reach out to him. As you can see, highly invested in those people that he works with, which is fantastic. So, Andrew, I think we're going to wrap this up, but you've been such a great guest. I'm so glad I had you on.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.